income machine, where we're going to look at how our wheel strategy has been going on MicroStrategy as well as Nvidia. But before we get going, smash that like button, subscribe if you've been with us for a while and haven't done so yet. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio. We've got some new products in there for you to check out. I'm also currently working on a new sticker shop to have. It's going to be a different website than that one, so I'll have that in the description, the link in the description here pretty soon when that is rolling out. It's probably going to roll out this week or next week. Where I have a new website where we just have stickers. They're way cheaper than on my current printer, so they should be much more accessible if that is something that you are into and would like to have some stickers. So anyways, let's get into it here. So MicroStrategy and Nvidia. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit and show you how much premium I've collected so far. All right, $3,839, and that is since July 31st. So that's not bad, especially considering that I'm only using what, like $26,000 worth of capital to do this. And if we go over here on the MicroStrategy side, that is completely realized. So yesterday, actually, no, not yesterday, Friday, actually, I closed out this position. So on, was it Monday? No, it wasn't. It was Tuesday. Tuesday, the first, right? Yeah, Tuesday the 1st. I opened up a position for $155 put that I sold on MicroStrategy for $892. And on Friday, I closed that out at $350, which was a 60%, about a 60% gain on that one. Now, why do I keep closing these out at about 60%? Well, one, with MicroStrategy, it keeps happening in a day or two. If you get 60% profitable in a day or two, and you're not taking it, I'm concerned about I'm concerned about you. 60% is good. If especially on the dollar values that these contracts are generally, if I'm selling something for nearly $1,000, and by 3-4 days into the future, I'm already up $600-700. I'm gonna take that every time, and then I'll just wait and see what the next move is going to be for MicroStrategy, whether it's up or down, and then I will get back in and make another $600-700 in 4 or 5 days. That's the plan. Or if in the case of like back here, when I got into some trouble, roll it until I'm not in trouble anymore. That's what's been going on there. And then on the Nvidia side of things here, we've collected $2,143.60 of premium. Not all of that is realized. I do currently have a contract open for $749. You'll see here that I did close one out for $620, like 2-3 days before I opened up that new one for $750. We'll look at the chart here and talk a little bit about that. That might be a little bit of over management on my part here for Nvidia, but that's part of the process, right? I am still working on perfecting this. I am still getting better at it every day. That might have been a little bit of over management, at least in my opinion, I think, but it might not have been the worst thing I've ever done. We'll take a look here. I'm still up $3,839 since the end of July. So since July 30th, that's the first day I sold a put on Nvidia. Didn't get into MSTR until 8-9 when the split came out. And since then, we've collected quite a lot of money, actually. Well, how many weeks ago was that? Let's take a look here. We're looking at a little over 9 weeks right now. So if we come over here, 3839.6 divided by 9, we're pulling in about $426.51 per week right now on our income machine here. That's not too bad. Extrapolate that out to a month. We're looking at about $1,700 a month right now, and it's just getting better. Okay, so that's the income machine for now on those two. Let's take a look at their charts. So MicroStrategy has been in this kind of wicked uptrend ever since it came down that 26%, and it just hasn't stopped. It came down, tested 21 EMA, jumped up, came back down into the 5 EMA, and rocketed up again one more time here. We got this big engulfing candle here right now. Now, we do also need to look at Bitcoin to know what's going to happen with MicroStrategy, because it is very connected to Bitcoin. But this is a pretty big candle. We are pretty far off the 5. The 5 is at 167. Currently, the value of the stock is at 176, so we're almost $10. Well, 168. We're like $8 off this thing, right? We're about $8 off. So it could move $8 down and still be like in a super bullish trend. So MicroStrategy could see this thing continue up. Now, I am looking on Monday to get back into this. And let me get down onto the 30-minute chart. This is what I'm looking at for MicroStrategy short term. Short term, of course. So I'm looking for something like, so this is that 1-day candle, right? That huge move up, right? Okay. So this to me, and let me turn this off so that you can see this. This to me looks a bit like a rising wedge. Now we're riding the top of that rising wedge. It is getting tighter and tighter as it moves higher. Okay. All it needs to do is break back down beneath this candle here, which is going to be 174.90. So 174.90, and we come all the way back down to 170 easily. Minimum back down to 170, potentially all the way back down to the bottom of this move, which would be about 163, 164. At that point, I think I'm going to try to buy or not buy, but sell an in the money put. So I'm going to try to sell an in the money put. And I'm going to do it probably on the 30, maybe on the 1 hour chart. We'll look at that in a second here, but I'm going to do it. You see these momentum indicators, these momentum oscillators down here? They're all bunching up at the top here. The orange line is pointing up. So the orange line is the slow momentum. That's moving up. The faster momentums are all bunching up at the top here. I want to see those come down. I want to see the blue one probably come past the orange line. I want to see the yellow one either touch it or get close to touching it. And I want to see the purple one just barely come back in to beneath overbought conditions. Okay, that's what I want to see. So I want to see the blue come down past the orange, the yellow come back near it or touching it, and the purple one just get back beneath 80, excuse me. And then at that point, I'll probably go into an in the money put and ride that up, back up to like 170, 180, maybe even $200 on MicroStrategy. And that's going to be a pretty valuable one. In the money puts on MicroStrategy, even a week out, or you're looking at $700, $800. So I'll probably do 2 weeks out and try to collect like $1,500 off one. That's going to be my attempt. Let's move it into the hourly. Let's see what the hourly looks like on this thing. Yeah. So not bad. The slow moving oscillators, it had been coming down a bit, right? It honestly had been coming down a little bit since 10:30 a.m. on Monday, and it had wild swings up in between that, by the way. So keep in mind of that. Like this big wild swing up from 157-ish to 174 happened while the momentum was actually crawling down. Anyways, so I will be looking for these to kind of flatten out on the hourly and then reignite up. I think I like the 30-minute better on this one, so I'll be watching the 30-minute for this move in order to get my entry for my next MicroStrategy. Now, if you look here, this is very interesting actually. So we had a double bottom right here, right? Bottom, bottom, double bottom right there, right? So that's operating off of a much bigger double bottom. If we go to the daily, it's operating off of this double bottom right here, where we came down, up, down. Woo. Fun how these patterns repeat themselves. I love TA. TA is great. So interesting to see how these things play out. We had an inverted head shoulders back there. So we had a double bottom playing off of a double bottom. Now we have come to the top of this daily double bottom here. We're going to need a new bullish structure in order to send this thing higher. Right now, we're looking at what could be a double top right here. Yeah, a top and another top potentially. That could be what's going on there. So we're going to watch this thing close, real close, and see if that's what happens here. I do love that I had a double bottom off of a double bottom. That's pretty fun. And if we go to the 30, this double bottom is also reaching its top. It could go a little bit higher. This double bottom here could push up to about 180. That is very possible. It could push up to 180 before giving up, before failing. But the neckline for that double bottom was down here at 173, and we are solidly above that. We might come back to test it. So I'm going to watch. Actually, I'm going to watch right there with the bodies. I don't really like wicks. I like bodies of things in terms of candles. Yeah, we could see this. Yeah, and that would play into part of this rising wedge here. If it came back, tested this area here, maybe even a little lower to 170, right? And then moved up from there, that would actually play well into this rising wedge and retesting the neckline of the double bottom. So I would watch for that right now. That's what I'm looking at for MicroStrategy. Okay, let's move on to Nvidia. How's Nvidia looking? So Nvidia, let's see this chart. Okay, Nvidia, what's going on here? So we ended up in a falling wedge here. I actually got out of that one. When did I get out of that one? On the 27th. So I was in on the 19th, out on the 27th. Let's see what happened here. So in on the 19th. So I got in here on the 19th at about 117 on a 115. It came down to 114.93. Okay. 2 days later, and then on the 24th, it went up. The 25th, it went up. On the 26th, it went way up. Oh yeah, I see why I sold, because it was probably way higher than that, and then it started falling down, and I started seeing the momentum up here start to peak, and I was looking at it to potentially come down, and then it did. Okay, that makes sense now. That makes sense why I did that. I was seeing weakness on the 27th after that big run up. Okay, and then on the 30th, see where were we? The 30th was that bounce day, and I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna go higher, and then it came down lower, but it did go higher the next 2 days. So right now, let's see, what are we looking at? We saw a falling wedge come here, right? That's a falling wedge. We blew out of that falling wedge like crazy. Now we've got a gravestone doji up here. That's a little bit ominous. I don't love it. The fact that it's all wick on the bottom isn't bad, but that tiny, tiny, tiny little body, that's not a kind of candle that you want to see. We're going to have to drill down lower to see anything on this. Actually, we could drive a little bit higher up to 127 or so, but we might find ourselves right back here at 117, 118 here pretty easily. Let's take a look. Let's drill into the hourly first. Okay, the hourly. Oh, okay. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Let's do a little bit of drawing here. Well, actually, go from here up. No, you could say that. Okay, you could say this is a wedge, but it's going to be just from here. Okay, you could say that it's a wedge coming in from here and from here. You could say that. It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter as it gets into this space here. Price needs to break out above 125. If price doesn't come out above 125, we're probably going to revisit about 123, 122 here on Monday morning. Very possible. That's not good for my put, but it's reality. It could happen. I'm not super concerned about that though. There is a decent amount of support right in here between 123 and like 121. And the put I have is for 119. So as long as it's above 119 on November 15th, which I'm pretty confident it will be, it's Nvidia after all. It's going to catch that Q4 run up if there is one. Then we could see this thing, come down into this area. Maybe fill this gap. We might fill this gap. There is a value gap there, or there's a gap right here. Now, individual stocks don't always fill gaps. That's more of an index thing, but there is a gap right there that I'm watching now, and that is going to be right at my level here, like 120, 119. Now, if we get a pop up in the morning on Nvidia, I am currently up like 20-25% on that. I might take that early in the morning in anticipation for this drop down towards this gap here. So I'm going to have to be vigilant on that now. Why do I think that this is going to happen? Look at the oscillator, just like with MicroStrategy, where they're all bunching up, all the fast ones were bunching up at the top here. That is happening here as well. Now, when they're bunching up at the top here, we're expecting some kind of curl over and come down for those faster oscillators to reset, while the slower one is still driving price overall higher and higher. Okay, so the slow one, if that's still pointing up, we are expecting a recovery, but if the fast ones are at the top, we are expecting a bit of a curl over and drop down. I wouldn't be surprised if it came down to like 120.90, 120.91, 120, yeah, right around here. I wouldn't be too surprised to see it actually more like here. Let's make that one orange. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come back down to about 122.10, which is where the 21 EMA is. Maybe just overshoot it a little bit and then start curling back up from there. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for maybe in the morning here, see it come up, maybe test 126, 127. I think at that point I'd be looking to exit here and allowing it to fall back down to this 122 level, maybe even come back and test 119 and then sell another 119 right away for late November for Nvidia and just recollect another $700-800 for that one. I think that's what my plan is going to be for tomorrow. I'm going to get in nice bright and early, soon as 6:30 comes around, I'm going to see if this thing popped up, if it opens up higher or lower. I'm going to set my sell order for just, maybe 30% profitable, maybe 35% profitability, because it should have a little pop, and then have it come back down off of this rising wedge, off of this peaking fast oscillator momentum, and see it curl back down maybe to the 21 or like a midday move, and then from there buy another or sell another put, sell another put for the income machine on that one. All right. So that is the update on the income machine. MSTR and Nvidia are looking like they're going to do some short-term pullbacks here for a day or two, maybe 3, going into that October for the next week or so. And then around the end of October, I'm expecting pretty much everything to be moving up in October here. We've collected $3,839 worth of premium on this so far in just 9 weeks. We're hoping to expand that further. I want to have this thing, I want to see this thing reach, let's say, how much more would I need to go? How many weeks do we have till the end of the year? We've got like what, 8, 9, 10. We got 10 more weeks. Okay, so I want to see this number here hit $8,000 by the end of the year. So by 2025, our goal is going to be to make this thing be $8,000. Let's see if we can make that happen. Now, I also have one more wheel that I am running now. Well, I have one that I'm running, this one, VRT. That is still open, by the way. And I'm running that in a paper account because I don't have just an extra $10,000 lying around. So I am running this on paper. One I am running with real money, another one I'm running with real money is American Airlines, AAL. Why am I running American Airlines, you may ask? It's a boring company. It's not doing anything. Well, that's exactly why I'm running a wheel on it, because it's a boring company. It's not doing anything. And it hasn't been doing anything for a while. So let's go look at AAL real quick. This is going to be the end of the video here. This is the last thing. So AAL. Oh yeah, I like that. This little thing here. Now this could come back down and test 1127, but as long as it holds above 1050, I'm chilling. All right, let's go to the daily. All right. So basically since May, this thing has had a range between 1226 and 914. Realistically, a range between 1226 and 1050. Here, let me draw this. This is the range. Oh, actually, I had that there for a reason. Let me do a new one. That's the range. Right? It gets down here, it comes back up here. It gets down here, it comes back up here. It likes to do ranges in the past. Now, this is something old. This is not important. Yes, remove it. Yes, remove it. Too many things on here. Okay. This thing likes ranges, like right back here. We had a range between 1544 and 1273. That range lasted from this area here. Let's say that was the bottom. Lasted from December 2023 until May 2024. So many, many months. So we could be coming up on the end of a range here for AAL, American Airlines. Now, I'm thinking Q4, it could probably go up because Q4, we're going to see Christmas travel, Thanksgiving and Christmas travel coming through. American Airlines will benefit from that. We might see an increase in the stock. And if that's the case, any puts I have on it, I've already closed 2 of them, but I should open another one. Any puts I have on it will be going up. Notice here, this one I made 50% in one day. The one from 10.3 to 10.4, I sold it for $50.33 on the 3rd, and on the 4th, I sold it for $24.66, making me a quick 50% profit in one day. That's pretty amazing. The other one I did more than a little less than that, like 40% in 2 days. But this one only takes about $1,100, $1,200 to run this wheel right now before the stock goes up. For Q4, and that's pretty affordable, I think, for most people to get their feet wet and to start to understand how selling options can work without using too much capital, without it being scary, like with Nvidia using $12,000 to run this thing, or MicroStrategy, $16,000, $17,000 to run that strategy. This one's only going to cost $1,100 right now, maybe a little more by the time that you decide to do it or track it. You could just track it. And of course, none of this is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. I just think that American Airlines is an affordable, slower moving option in terms of selling puts in order for a newer person to selling to running a wheel to get their feet wet and to kind of understand the process and get a feel for the back and forth of it all. That's all. So that's the one I'm running right now, and I'm going to see how much money I can make with American Airlines here in the next couple of months as well. So we'll be taking a dive into that as we go further with it. But anyways, with that said, please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio. Check out the new products there. Keep an eye out for the sticker shop rolling out here real soon. I'll definitely let you know when it's coming out. But it's going to be great. All right. Have a profitable day.